Hello, everybody. It is Sunday, and it is Snowbirds Meeting Room Podcast. I'm Shadow Spectre 11, and I'm here with Fiream, aka Fire.
Hello.
And today I'm going to be talking about Evocati news, Mission Spotlight, the Inside Star Citizen that came out, and also leaks. What we've gotten and things like that. Just a little bit of something different, and just pretty much an overall catch up of the week's events. I hope you all enjoy it. And let me change over and get started. And we'll start off with leaks. And here we are. Or not leaks, sorry. The Evocati test. This is the news. Hey, Shaved, what's up, man? Alright, so this was the last Evocati playtest, stability limited test, and 320 playtest. So it goes through all the information of, deleting your user folder and setup and things like that. And so it is set for the NDA Evocati test group. It was EU only. Database reset, which is always going on with a new Evocati, a new build, a new PTU build. Long-term persistence, pledge copy, nope. So you couldn't do a copy of your pledge items or anything like that. And you started with 1 million AUEC, and this is coming from Pipeline, and the build is still under NDA. So here we go. Let's see. Testing focus. Hyper focus on stability, which is a good thing. That's what we need and what we're waiting for. And I'm still running the Snowbirds overlay. Still working on that with Everett, so forgive me. Important note, please. Set your initial spawn point to Orison. Wow. Important note. Setting it to another location or going to another location in PU and leaving will most likely brick your account. Wow. Okay. And we got not ready for feedback. As always, there's partial implementations for certain new features. We're not collecting bugs and feedback on just yet, as any issues are most likely due to partial implementation. Okay, so Seraphim Station, automated cargo transfer and new cargo packing system. The Hull C, new salvage missions, and wheeled vehicle handling improvements. That's going to be good when that drops. Known issues. Okay. User accounts are blocked. Okay. If loading into any zone but Orison. Okay. Stations. Elevators. All elevator panels are non-functional and do not display correctly in hangars and halves. Affects many locations, but should be okay at Orison and Seraphim. Okay. Area 18, inventory equipped items are lost after dying in the landing zone. Inventory again, double clicking or right clicking is selecting equip on helmets while wearing leg armor equips the the armor box rather than the helmet. I'd love to see a screenshot of that. Beds. And getting out of bed, player character will shake and snap. Player can't purchase or interact with pharmacy store in the hospital. Player cannot load the inventory inside the clinic. There are a few known issues that we will do with time permits. Port Tressler. Hull C can get stuck in unusable state, cannot be sold, and cannot finish loading the cargo. Interesting. Click to store ship at ASOP, but it was destroyed. Vehicles, player, and items can fall through bottom of the deck of the Redeemer. Not good. Reclaimer bridge elevator interaction is missing. Ghost Hollow. Well, there's a lot of stuff that they need to fix. Okay, so Ghost AUC terminals at Ghost Hollow can get stuck on rebooting if common array is connected and the player presses authorize on the AUC terminal. Client performance drops around Ghost Hollow. Every time we went there, we've been getting a lot of frame rate issues around Ghost Hollow. The last time we went there, hey Phenom, welcome. Let's see what else. AI counter will drop to 0 after streaming location in and out again. Client FPS will drop as long as players are inside the cockpit of the, I gotta say it, Drake Cutlass series. The Carrick's main elevator will get locked in place and begin to spin indefinitely after spamming the floors for a few minutes. Not good. Force killing the client gives players the option to duplicate ships. Ooh. The Dumpers Depot within Grin Hex has a viz area that allows players to clip inside of the location. Okay. Ship repaired doesn't happen, but still charges you. I can't even get fuel. Refuel repair unavailable when landed. Yeah, that's a big one. When storing a ship, the ASOP terminal will set the status to claim instead of retrieve. And when two players salvage a ship's hull simultaneously, the hull will recover and be infinitely scrappable. Man, you could sit there and salvage all freaking day. Wow. Personal inventory. Inventory can enter state of becoming unresponsive, preventing the player from being able to eat or drink. While buying or selling items, there's a chance a transaction error will occur and hostile AI bullets visibly clip through walls. Okay. Interesting set of notes for this last patch. Haven't heard about a new one. They did throw something out on Friday, I believe, that they were going to do something else. So, all right. Next topic is going to the mission spotlight. This just started on Thursday, I believe, and it's fun. It's a lot of work to get to the Idris. That's 7 missions you got to go through, and with the way the servers have been acting up right now, it is almost impossible to even finish the first or second mission. Now, maybe other players have had better luck than us when when the soul works. If we can chip away. What do you mean, Super Shade? Well, if I look at it like this, if you can go in and do a couple of missions a day, and then one mission at a time, yeah, I'd rather try that and be able to get to it as long as we still have the reputation to hold on to the next day. That'd be awesome. I think that's what it should be. It shouldn't be all in one shot. So it does show how you get it. You know, you have to do your very first bounty to get licensed, and then you can go see, your Bounty Hunters Guild, your tracking permit, and you'll be able to get it. Then you go getting started. You go talk to Miles Eckert, and we've done that. So the next step is being able to get to the missions and complete them. Darlington Gang takes no prisoners. They have a contest, a screenshot contest going on with this, and they gave us ships to purchase with this event, and they said this is going on over the next few months, highlighting missions, which is cool. I can't say that it's a bad thing. I think it's cool because I'm gonna say it, I don't do a whole lot of the missions because they were broken. There was no way to finish them. I mean, I have gotten to the Idris in 317, so I did them last year, but we'll see. Hopefully they will work this out and get it in a better state. Hey Everett, how you doing? So your rep with North Rock goes down as your rep with Eckhart goes up. Okay, yeah. And I can see that. So we've got the Inferno, and you can get that. You got your Ion. Now, I did this. I did an upgrade with my Vulture to an Ion, and now I have Star Killer, which is what I named it, permanently. So when Xeno Threat is working and comes around, I will be flying Star Killer into it. And when we try this again, I'm going to run the Ion so I can bust the shields out. And then you got the Arrow, which I do have as well. And your Eclipse. Way cool. How you doing, Everett? Glad to see you made it, man. And you have your Eclipse. Then you have the ham sandwich, the buff that's out there, and you got the Redeemer. Now I named my Redeemer when I had it Puff the Magic Dragon, just to let you know. And then you got the Retaliator Bomber, Sexy Sadie, which is what I call mine in game. And that's it. 7 ships to go along with that. It's a pretty good sale to go along with that. Yeah, using the new cam. I got it a couple weeks ago, and it's been running great. What do you think, Phenom? Okay, so next thing, I figure this is just a quick recap of what's going on. Looks good, no flickering. Yeah, the other one kept having this thing where it would auto adjust, and I think that's what it is. And also, it's got a light around the edge, so it brightens it. That helps too. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna hold off on the ISC until last, but here we are with the leaks. Yeah, a light ring. Yep. Here we go with the leaks. A Drake cutter scout version with a radar dish. That's going to be kind of cool to have a Drake a cutter starter, or not starter, Drake scout ship. And Artec said that he would love to see a medical variant. That would be cool. That would be cool. So the next, I will call that one Shockwave. Nice. Okay, so here, Expedition and Scout. So they are doing an Expedition version of the cutter and the Scout. So there's that. Now, Artec said something about having a variant, a medical variant of the cutter. Now that would be interesting. More room for beds and a couple of beds, med beds and stuff like that. That'd be an interesting ship. And with the range it has, that'd be pretty awesome. It has the room and the range. You got that right. Okay, so next. Here we are with particle spaceships, ship specific Argo SRV and thrusters for the A1 Spear, the Crusader Spear, A1 version. So it's coming, and they're working on the Argo SRV. I can't wait for that ship. I'm dying for that ship. Ammo carrier for Eclipse resupply. That's a good thought too. Well, you know what? And far, I think you're muted, probably. But a resupply ship with what you need, like ammunition, missiles, even a ship that can carry spare parts for in case you have an issue or a problem with some of your ships. That would be cool. I would, I would get one of those. I would. But a medical version of the cutter would be awesome. I think that would be a cool ship. Dip torpedoes alone. Surfboard top wrap for torpedoes. Nice. I think that would be slick. Okay, so next, Titan suits. Titan suits. That's going to be interesting. Like the suit that Ripley wore when she was battling the Queen. That would be awesome. And everybody's been waiting for Titan suits. Okay. Creatures probably need to get a Titan suit. Yeah. Okay. Combat. Creatures. It would be nice with a Titan suit mine who's bulky. Oh, that type of suit. You know what? A Titan suit would be really cool for mining. Yeah. If it had the lasers on the arms instead of a handheld, that would be slick. So creatures are coming in. They are working on the creatures. Interesting. And this is the last leak. Behaviors. AI behaviors. And this means that they're going to be moving things to the ships. Cargo. Okay, carry boxes, clean up trolleys and boxes from area. Janitors, find box to take, find delivery area, holding expected object. Is trolley full? Load box on box, load box on trolley, load box pickup box, stack box in delivery area, take box from object. So, behaviors, utility for the AI to help us load the ships. About time. I want to see stampedes of raging herds attacking Jumptown as they run through it. You can't. Can you expand on the janitor stuff? Well, if you think about it, Phenom, they were throwing stuff out there about NPCs going around cleaning up the cities and areas and stuff on that. I think well, that's what we need besides the automatic cleanup that comes. And if I'm correct, I saw something where they were talking about a janitor using a mop and cleaning up and stuff like that. I mean, the servers have to be working at a higher rate of speed so dropping stuff will make stuff disappear. Gowns are 0 AUEC now, and players still litter. No, the gowns, they're 45 a pop. Did that change? They were 45 a pop. So now it changed. Yeah, it was 0 for a hot minute, and then they put the price back. Yeah, they put the price back. So it was 15 and now it's 45 AUEC. But expanding on what Phenom is asking, all I know is that they were working on an AI janitor. And they were also saying that maybe players would get missions to clean up the landing zones, because there's supposed to be a protocol that runs through the server and cleans up stuff after so much time. That's all I know. And I thought that was kind of cool, but it needs to. What do we do with what to do with my collection of gowns? Sell them. Go to the Kasaba and sell them off. I have a few that I need to sell, so I'm going to try that today. Make sure that still works, because it's 45 a pop. That could be some good little cash. Okay. Any other questions about the leaks? If you guys are good with it, I'm going to go to the next topic, which is the ISC, the return. It's back. And it's about munching. So if an NPC janitor has an area marked off, slippery player. Hey, you never know, Everett. Carts them away. You know what? As much as we trip over a rock and get incapacitated, that would be cool if they had a medical NPC come and shoot us with a med gun, or pick our bodies up and roll us to the hospital. You know, that would be awesome. I know we're asking a bit much on that one, but that would be cool. Then you see respect for the NPC janitor as he or she laughs. That would be kind of messed up and cool. Anybody else have any comments on that, on the leaks or anything? Because we can go back and check a few things, but alrighty. Well, has anybody seen the ISC? Because I'm going to jump into that. Okay, let me go full screen on this and start it up for you.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Inside Star Citizen, our weekly look at the behind-the-scenes development of what my mother calls that video game Jared's making whenever she explains it to her friends. It's Q3, and if you've been following this show in any of its incarnations for a while now, you know that the road to CitizenCon is a very interesting one for our weekly video content, as we skillfully avoid all the hot topics being saved for the big, now 2-day event, and use that challenge as an opportunity to explore aspects of our development that might otherwise never get a chance to shine. It's an opportunity this quarter to look at how Rastar is being used to remaster existing UGFs in Alpha 320, to explore racing a little bit, and a new ship that readers of Jump Point magazine and our social media channels probably already know is on its way. An update to Claudius and how it's being used to create even more immersive environments heading your way, and then a spin around the whole VFX department to see what they're up to. Yes, Virginia, it's true, there will be fire. We can do all this and more as we navigate our journey to the big 2 days in October. But up this week, and my reason for sitting here at my desk, dumping just a little bit of SCL into our ISC, is to talk to Torsten and Jacob from the EUPU feature team about the prototyping process, how they test design and programming implementations at the earliest stages, and how it relates to munching, an important component of salvage, and my nightly routine just 20 minutes before I go to sleep.
Oh, really? Sorry.
Torsten, Jacob, how you doing, people?
Doing good.
I am fine, thank you.
All right, so we are here talking about prototyping process. Before we get into it, give me the top level, just the LinkedIn version answer. What is a prototype and why do we do it?
A prototype basically can have several facets in game development, and for us particular, it is always about gameplay, and in this particular case, it is about the technical problems that we might face and we might have to solve. So for that, we always use prototypes, and playtesting those prototypes is a crucial part in game development, where it is mainly used to prove theories, where the theory is either gameplay is fun, does it technically work, and this is basically what the purpose of a prototype is.
Anything you want to add, Jacob?
From more of a dev perspective, we tend to take what the design...
I'm going to jump in for a hot second. That guy, Thorsten, Okay, he's been doing the mining. They had him on ISC and SCO a lot before 319 hit. They had a few episodes with him talking about the mining updates and all like this. And I kind of like listening to him on stuff because he has some. This guy, he does look like he's 16 years old. But they really did. That guy, I'm gonna back it up a little bit. This guy right here, he does a lot. He does a lot. So can't knock the man for doing his job. I mean, just a lot of stuff that he does. I'm gonna keep going.
And this is basically what the purpose of a prototype is.
Anything you want to add, Jacob?
From more of a dev perspective, we tend to take what the designer's vision is for gameplay, and then we've got to figure out how can we achieve that in the game. And just as often, that's not crystal clear from the start, so we have to try a few things and see what technical hurdles might be ahead of us that we're going to have to consider for the full development.
So what we're going to do on this week's show, the first of our Q3 shows where things are a little bit different, we are going to look at a feature at the absolutely earliest stage. This is earlier than we've ever shown any feature ever, the prototype phase. What we're about to show you is not going to look good. It's not going to look pretty. It's going to be weird, poppy, and buggy. So we're just warning you ahead before you take the footage and put it in your YouTube videos. What is the prototype that we're going to look at right now, Jacob?
We're going to be looking at the prototype for munching, the next tier of salvage. The idea being we need some way to take apart a larger ship and break it into little pieces so that you can then pick it up in your salvage ships, gain some material from that, and you'll be able to sell that later. But we're going to be looking at just the breaking a ship apart phase, which is what we're prototyping here.
All right, so I got it queued up here. Let's take a look at this here. So obviously this is a vulture approaching a gladius.
Yep. So for the prototype, we've added in a new munching mode, sub-mode to salvage. So all of that hull scraping UI has disappeared. And we're going down to just what we need for this prototype, which is the ability to break apart a ship, which at the moment is going to look exactly the same as if you blew it up with your guns, but in future that would look rather different.
What's happening right here? I see the bar filling up on the left,
Okay,
but nothing's
so
happening with the ship.
Yeah, so this is the placeholder for the actual gameplay that would happen here. The design will have some actual gameplay for what you have to do as a player to break the ship apart, but we put in that little placeholder, which is just essentially a timer, a progress bar, based on how big the target is.
And that is actually on purpose, because the question that we are asking in this prototype are more technical. That means that we shouldn't focus on the gameplay aspect, so we should keep the gameplay as minimal or as simple as possible, and then so that we can fully focus on the technical bits of the prototype.
Okay, so we saw it broken into some, what looked like normal debris, but now we got to break it into smaller munchable stuff. So we'll go back to the video here.
So breaking it into normal debris is stuff that you've seen before, but when we have this bigger part, it doesn't come apart into more pieces naturally. So in this prototype, we are just deleting the thing and replacing it with loads of tiny little placeholder pieces to act as the munched apart debris. What you're also seeing is a prototype for how you will get those pieces into your cargo, which is a little suction field that grabs those little pieces, drags them towards the grinder in the mouth of the vulture,
I've watched
and
it
from there they're converted into cargo.
Those little pieces that we saw are obviously not arted and everything. I want to remind people again, we've literally never shown anything in a prototype phase before, so forgive me for reiterating this 2 or 3 more times before we're done here. This is designer art, just small pieces to represent the mass and the size of stuff that we might be using.
It's even worse, it's coda art.
Yes, indeed. This is the programmer equivalent of a white box test, where I'm not even qualified to make white boxes, so I just rip off other assets that I found in the engine and just slap them together. So that's what this is.
And obviously, without being a prototype, there's no VFX, there's no explosions, there's no beams, there's none of the things that would mask this transition that would normally happen, so that you don't see the pieces just pop in, like they're currently doing.
Yes.
All right, so that was done on your local machine, just you on your workstation doing a local version of the universe here. The next phase, as I understand it, is to test it in PU conditions, and we're going to go ahead and start this video because this video is going to go for a little bit. Tell me what we're doing here.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what we're doing, and then we can discuss later why we're doing that.
Exactly.
What we're doing right here is I want to test worst case performance conditions. So I'm chucking in some console commands to load up or stream in several different landing zones at the same time. Because otherwise, me as just one player on the server, I wouldn't really be loading that much. I wouldn't be stressing the server. So I'm going to stress it quite a lot by loading up as many landing zones as I can think of off the top of my head, basically, until I see that server FPS count go appreciably lower. And then only once I've done that, am I going to step into the actual gameplay test.
I also noticed you've upgraded from a Gladius to an 890 jump.
Yes, because when I think worst case for breaking a big thing into small things, I want the biggest possible thing, which is going to require lots and lots of small things. So, yeah, 890 jump is a good candidate for that.
Okay. So, what are you typing here? Oh, yeah.
I'm just typing in some comments for the other recipients of this video, because this was an internal video for reviewing stuff.
Do you often use console commands to leave notes for people?
There are other ways, but it's the most convenient. So
all right. So we've got the server simulating PU conditions. All the landing zones are loaded at once instead of streaming in and out like they would normally would.
Yes.
So it's actually worse than you would see on a normal PU.
Indeed, and we're going to see that immediately, that this breaking the ship apart that we saw work so nicely in the editor, well, I've really annoyed the server here, because all of these pieces are popping in a not so great way, and I make a bit of a sarcastic comment about it in the console.
It's important to create these conditions, to test these things, not just in ideal conditions, not just the ideal universe of your own computer, or even the PU when it's like first loads and nobody's in and everything's great.
No, indeed. What I'm testing here is worse than we would hope it ever to be. We don't want it to ever be this bad, but we got to test it because it might be.
All right, so
now
here's where beams would be shooting out, starting to break the ship apart.
Yeah, there'd be extra gameplay here, there'd be VFX or whatever, but in the editor version, we saw pretty much as soon as the big piece disappeared, all those tiny little bits turned up. Well, it's not going to go that way in this situation. We're going to be waiting quite some time for all those little pieces to turn up.
Gotcha. And so while we're waiting for those pieces to turn up here, let's talk about what we learned from what we've learned from these tests so far. Obviously, there's some performance stuff, but there's also some gameplay implications from what we've seen. Torsten, you want to talk us through it?
Well, I can talk about some parts that we learned from, right?
Sure.
So the best thing that you can learn from a prototype is actually everything that goes bad, because this is the stuff that you can then iterate on and make the gameplay or the technical stuff even better. So from the gameplay perspective, so I will just talk about the gameplay stuff, and Jacob can talk about what we learned from a technical perspective there. Is from the gameplay we learned that what about big ships? So how, for example, now you saw the Vulture trying to attach to the 890 jump. That is a bit of a wonky situation and it doesn't feel right. So what about Vultures actually munching bigger ships? So how can we make that an interesting gameplay? Then you saw in the first video what happens when the ship transitions into the smaller bits. So the masking is a huge topic that we have to solve so that it feels right and you don't notice that one element pops away and another element pops in. So we definitely have to mask that. Then what you might have seen in the first part is the conversion of materials. I don't know if you paid attention to the filler station bar that basically fills the SU crates in the backside of the vulture, but that filled drastically faster than it would normally do with hull scraping. That means that it would be more painful for you to munch because you have to stand up from your seat more often, go down to the filler station, remove the boxes. So this is definitely an issue that we then have to solve, because we really don't want to have this gameplay to be more tedious than it's has to be. So we have to find a solution how we can make it more like much nicer for the player to actually remove those crates there. Then the navigation around the pieces is also something that we notice isn't that fun. So we will probably utilize the tractor beams there, because we are anyway working on them. But maybe that makes it much easier for players, instead of flying around and getting the pieces between the fork of the vulture and then having it disintegrate, but instead you pulling the pieces in with a tractor beam. The fork of the vulture is very limiting in terms of what pieces will fit. So this is also something we learned. And a big thing is, which already is standing out, is how can we make it fun and unique for the reclaimer. So we just were looking in the prototype at the vulture, and the big question that our team was asking in the end of that prototype was like, okay, how can we facilitate the claw and the uniqueness visuals, or the uniqueness in general of the reclaimer, to actually facilitate that gameplay and have it stand out and be meaningful and fun.
All right, so a lot of gameplay, gameplay implications from just that little prototype. Jacob, what was your takeaways?
From the tech perspective, I'm looking at things like the performance, and also just what am I going to have to account for to achieve the designer's vision here? And I know that we're going to want things like the time that it takes to destroy something.
Okay. The claw on the reclaimer, that's going to be interesting to see how that's going to work. We already know that the reclaimer can do the hull scraping and things like that. How can the reclaimer break up a ship? That's going to be the next thing that I want to check out. But I'm going to continue.
To be somewhat proportional for its size and mass, but from the initial prototype, I could already see that a bigger piece taking longer. It already takes a few seconds with the Gladius. If we're going to scale that up and scale up the time as well proportionally to a big target, we're going to have to think about what equation are we going to use for scaling that, so that it doesn't take you ages to like sitting there for minutes to break something apart. I got to think about how I'm going to hook in the visual effects and the audio. What dependencies am I going to need to get involved?
Speaking of, judging time, the entity system is taking a little bit of time to spawn all the spawn debris. We've been talking. This is still going at the moment. Obviously, there's going to have to be some optimization work there with the entity system.
This is kind of what we've got with PES is that it's not quite as quick to create entities.
That's a good question, Everett. What about those things? You're going to have to go inside the ship and get those out before you start ripping the ship apart. Good point.
As before we had PES, and we have all sorts of great stuff that comes with PES, so this is just a small limitation that we have to learn to work around. But it tells us that gameplay ideas that we had before PS might need some adaptation in order to work efficiently in the post-PES world.
So yeah, so speaking of which, let's go back to the video. I think we're about to get the entity spawns now.
Worried you'll lose your pics if you switch to Android?
Sorry, guys.
It's all good with easy data transfer.
And I got another one. Jeez.
With the coating, a pipe. Any saying this?
Yeah, they should be
in the
here.
background while we've
Should
been
be here
talking.
any moment now. Yes.
There we go.
There we go. And a bit of a flicker as they come in, but they're finally here. So yeah, this tells us, well, in this worst case scenario, this performance is obviously unacceptable. We're going to have to do something about this. So we are thinking about how can we change our approach? How can we optimize what we've got? Discussions in various different directions. But this is a key takeaway from this prototype, because if it had gone differently, if we tried this and the pieces turned up in just a few seconds or so, then we'd have known that this approach on the whole was probably acceptable, and with a little bit of optimization, it'd work. But that's not what happened. The stuff took minutes to arrive, and that means we have to do some more serious rethinking about how we're going to approach this.
The vision and the basically the acceptance criteria our directors define, they are still untouched, right? So those are still to be fulfilled, and even the overall vision that we as the team defined for how that gameplay should play out, those will be like, those are already set in stone because we all agreed on those. But how the actual gameplay then plays and feels, this is still affected by the prototype. A prototype like this is really perfect for stepping in early and making sure that every tick box on our acceptance criteria is met, and we can make a better gameplay out of it.
I think we all have a real desire and responsibility towards testing these things as often and as early and under as much duress as possible as we work to stabilize the PU and make it a more enjoyable experience going forward. So Torsten, Jacob, thank you for hanging out with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
This is funny.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that prototyping doesn't really look like much of anything, but it's an essential step towards proving out design and performance before all the artists and other devs go in to do their thing. That it's just as important to prove out good ideas and good paths to take as it is to encourage developers to seek out another way towards success. And that it's important to continue refining not just the features and content being made, but the very way that we test those things earlier and earlier.
Yeah, that
and
was a
under scale
reclaimer
duress.
claw.
For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thank you for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
That was funny. The ending was classic. I thought that was so cool. Okay. So I have a game called Hard Space Shipwrecker. If the SRV tows a ship into port, can players without ships pull them apart? That was the reclaimer claw. Yeah, I already said that. But this is where people who have an SRV can pull the ship to an area where the vultures and the reclaimers can come in and do it. This is where salvage contracts or something like that can be implemented, in my thought, to bring something, or repair teams, to, with the SRV, bring the ship back to the station and repair repair a ship, put new components on it, and things like that. Or even the SRV take out components to a ship. You know, since they're talking about atmosphere inside ships, that is going to be a big thing. And you have to have the right component to run the life support to save the crew and be able to get the ship back so it can be repaired. There's a lot of possibilities going on with engineering. Just in my thought, that I'm speculating, but I think it'll be interesting. And when they do decide to do something about that, that's going to be cool to see. So, anybody got any questions or thoughts? Throw them out there. I think it'll be kind of cool. But that's where my Vulture will come in handy. Yeah. But like I say, with 320, the Vulture will be able to be bought in game. So that all the players that have not been able to do salvage will be able to get that ship. And with that, you're going to see a lot of Vultures out there. You're going to see a lot of Vultures. Also, with the Reclaimer, we've been seeing a lot of Reclaimers. We've been seeing a lot of Reclaimer wrecks and things of that nature. So it's going to be an in-game thing. It's me and Fire just left. But anyhow, I don't know. I just feel that certain things that we need in game are not there yet, and the SRV is going to be a very valuable ship. It's just got to be utilized correctly. Because once they get the physicalized components set up and things like that, we're going to see a lot of ships that are damaged. There's a ton of ships that are out there that are in certain areas that nobody can touch. And with an SRV, if you have a contract to go out and clear up an area, you can take the SRV, get a hold of that ship, and move it right to another spot that can be where it can be salvaged or repaired. Either way. So, anybody else got any thoughts? They will have SRV pull events. Once it all ties together with full-scale cruise ships. Yeah, that will be awesome. That will be awesome. Once they get everything together with the engineering and stuff like that, that's going to be, yeah, it's going to be slick. I can't wait. I am excited about that, but I'm going to hold on my expectations on things and go from there. But yesterday's event that we had with the second Snowbird rally, it went well. It was going really good, and then we got the 30. But it is what it is. Yep, the medical teams were shock stowaway hiding on the wreck ship. Right? The event went well, and but like I said, we got the 30K. So what ended up happening was the winner got the 5 mil, which was drop hammer. And with the cutter package, the winner was Road Rash. So it all worked out. It was a good event. I enjoyed it. I wanted to run the race from the ground, but I ended up flying the 890 jump to the point and then covering the race from overhead in the Guardian Angel, the Pisces, the C8R. But it was all good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Oh, you're welcome, Everett. Thanks. I appreciate it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Everybody enjoyed it. What's up, Nax?
Not much. How are you?
All right. And anybody got any other questions about what I covered in the video and, you know, on the stream so far? No worries, Shave. It was fine. We had a good time. It was much more. It turned out much better than I thought. With the way things were going, it was good. Like I said, I was prepping and had a 30K. So I had to start all over again, but luckily I had everything that I needed on the 890 jump and was able to get it back there so everybody could set up. And then, like I said, we were halfway through the race, almost halfway through. It was so close. And then we got the 30K right at the middle of it. But it turned out good. Unfortunately, couldn't make it to the destination, but yeah, of course. It was fun. Oh, one more question. What about the dead? What about the dead? What about the dead? What, dead ships? Or dead people? All the bodies on my ship? Well, I'm going to be pulling out the 890 today, and yeah, you did see that too. I'm going to be pulling the ship out today, and I'm going to be cleaning it up. So I'm going to take it, put it outside of the armistice zone, and I'm going to be getting rid of the bodies. So that's going to be first off of my list today to get that done. A medical ship with funeral services or wood chipper. Really? My God, murderous tendencies.
Services might not be a bad idea.
No, it may not. But anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed it. It was a fun event, and we'll be doing that again in a few months. And I will be running guide sessions today, the last of the guide sessions later on. So if anybody needs to get paints or anything like that, or rewards, I will be open and free to do that today. So, still laughing about the wood chipper. Everett. But anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed it. I had a good time doing the Snowbirds meeting room today, giving you guys a quick run over what events and leaks and stuff like that have been going on. So this is Shadow Spectre 11, and with Fire that was here earlier and Nax, I'm calling it on this one, and I will see you all a little bit later this afternoon for the stream. for doing some open guide sessions if you need it. Everybody, take care, and I will see you soon.